The biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Curie, Jeremiah Jensen, nice enough to sit down with us because he's here, and he's nice like that, and I think he enjoys doing this, and it's probably as easy as it is to do anything else.
Yep. I love high school football, and that's why we're here down in Utah County, and Mr. Mack's a part of that, and so I'm happy to be, involved. And I got to tell you, obviously the Utah Jazz is a big part of my life and my career.
Oh, of course.
And but I absolutely love doing high school football. I've done it in this market, I think, since 2004, so 20-plus years going on at this point. And love Utah County football, too. A lot of good football down here. Region 3, of course, with Corner Canyon, the other side of the point of the mountain. But there's such great football here. I love talking high school sports.
Well, it's something that's special to all of us because we all have leaned into that prep sports side of things. It's great. So I want to ask you about something, and JJ and I, when we do these shows, we talk about everything. Let's talk about the Jazz for a minute because I wanted to know from the coverage standpoint, when you're watching this team and there are flashes of brilliance from, Keyonte George is the story of the year.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And there are these bright spots in a year where everyone says, we already know what you are. And dealing with that, how do you guys deal with that? And because watching Will Hardy approach it, it seems different than what people think it was going to be.
Well, I think that coming into this season, and we had some opportunities to talk with Will about what were the expectations were going to be. And I think that they have just said, you know what, Will, you go out and put that team out there and see what can happen. And so he's really approached it that way. Now, obviously, development is still was a huge part of last year, and everybody was being told we're going to play the young players and just be, understanding of what's going to happen. This year, you're going to get a mix of young players and what can we build around, and I think it becomes more and more evident as we watch them play together that Lowry and Keyonte are kind of the building blocks here with Ace Bailey coming along. That's a talented young kid that's got so much upside. And so I think, our approach continues to be, even when we have these blowout losses that happen in the NBA, but when you have back-to-back losses the way that the Jazz – and then, you hear – what came off, on social media and the sideline.
Oh, Will Hardy getting after his guys for not trying?
But you
Come
love
on.
that.
People are surprised that a coach yells at his players.
Well, I don't know. I hope people are not surprised by that.
Why
if you
was
sit
that
anywhere
a deal?
near that, then you
already
weren't
know.
around.
Imagine Jerry Sloan
right,
having
you weren't
a video
around during the
leaked
Jerry
on
Sloan
social
era
media.
because the Jerry Sloan era was, that was pretty wild for people that didn't understand that, there's still some serious coaching going on here.
Yeah.
So I think as we approach it from a broadcast standpoint, we're constantly looking for ways to, continue to develop and to tell that story about how the Jazz are developing and looking at the improvement and being honest about, okay, that just was not a good performance. And Will Hardy was not happy with that, and you wouldn't expect him to be. So, For us as broadcasters, anybody that's involved in that type of broadcast, you're always, hoping that you're not going to get 5-10 losses in a row, that you have opportunity. Yeah. And that's what we are getting. We're not – I don't anticipate that we're going to have these long losing streaks where we've lost 10 in a row and we've run out of things to talk about. We're going to continue to have moments where there is a growing pain and then it continues to develop, and now you see a flash of wow, this is what this team could be, which we've seen, whether it be the Boston game or other times when the Jazz have overcome, some deficits and been able to make it competitive, even hang on to win games that they never would have won last year. There's situations that the Jazz have been in this year that are completely different from what we were dealing with last year.
Yeah, Lem, I look back last year, it felt dark. Like it was hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. This year, while they didn't win the lottery, and that was kind of the end of it, when they lost the lottery, we were sitting at JCW's doing our pre-lottery show and watched it all develop, and we had a crowd there. And the air just went out of them, and they walked out of the restaurant, which was kind of a bummer.
I got to admit, I was mowing my lawn, listening right with the headphones on. I'm listening, and everybody in my neighborhood could hear my response, what?
Over the lawnmower. You know how dark that moment was?
I love dark. That was a dark time.
It was. We followed the Jazz for a long time. They're not used to being in the situation. Yeah. And fans, you talk to fans all the time, Alema?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, what are we doing? Like, when are we going to win games again? Because fans here were kind of spoiled for a long, long time.
They're still showing
Even
up,
post
too.
John and Carl,
Yeah.
like, we had good teams here that won a lot of games and went on playoff runs. And we've had all-star players since then. And now it just felt dark. But Alema, I feel like it's turning this year. Like Keyonte George emerging as a potential star in this league has been a great development. You know who Lowry is, and you can see how Lowry and these young guys can work. But then, Ace hasn't had it every night, but you don't expect him to. But when you see the flashes, you're like, that kid could be an all-star someday, and there's another lottery coming up. Now, what do you think? Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel now, and you see there's this hope for the future?
And this is what we continue to tell this story, right, which is, okay, look at Houston, all right?
Oh, it's a
4 years ago, this was a terrible team.
Yeah.
And then they, continually would progress every year. Look at OKC, right? This is the blueprint. And they did it in the draft and did a little bit through free agency, getting Shea there. There are things that we can look at because we have this perspective. We're looking across the league and we're playing all these different teams. It's like, man, this team right here, this is what the Jazz could look like in 2, 3, 4 years. And that gives the fan base hope. Yeah. It's like, okay, we're not going to win it all, overnight. But I was just at our Sandy offices for the Jazz now, which are over in Southtown Mall.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stood out to me as I walked past this, this mural that has there, the bullet points of what the values are and the mission statement. And one of the things that it said was, to build the state of Utah, and then the bottom was win championships. And what it said to me was that we're doing this from the ground up. Yesterday, I think the night that was our day of giving for SEG. And it's getting involved in the community, and then, with the Mammoth now, all that support as well. You see how this thing is, being built to grow to the point where the byproduct eventually, and hopefully sooner rather than later, is going to be championships coming to Utah.
Detroit's also one of those stories where you're like,
another great example. Look at Orlando now.
They were supposed to be the worst team ever. Yeah. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago. And we always talk about OKC because that's a Western opponent.
Sure.
But there are teams that go, hey, the timeline thing where we all say, give it 5 years for the rebuild. It's like, that's not a prescription anymore.
Yeah.
It's different. And, I love seeing how these kids respond too. What out of these young guys who are on this roster, Keyonte George is making that impact, but who else is, everybody wants to see what Ace Bailey can do immediately.
Yeah.
He's doing what a rookie does. He's coming in. He's having flashes of brilliance. He's learning a ton. Is he learning a ton?
No, he is absolutely learning a ton. And one of the cool things that we, observe while we're sitting at our broadcast position and we're watching the game, and we're just kind of, south of the Jazz bench. So we're looking down on, and I'm watching the older players like a Nurk or like a George Niang or Kevin Love,
too, yeah.
right? Who is they're embracing these young players as they're coming off the floor. And there's a lot of coaching that is not being done by the coaching staff, but is being done by the veterans that have been brought in. But I still look at Bryce Sensabaugh's, continued development as a guy that can stick in this league. And Taylor Hendricks coming off the injury, okay, let's see what he can do, and that's going to take some time. But as you're looking at Filipowski, like I think of Kyle Filipowski and his ability to just kind of sit and learn at the shoulder of Lauri Markkanen. I've seen so much of him, mirroring things that Lowry does, and Lowry is a phenom. He's a
freak
bit
athlete.
He's a bit of a unicorn. Yep. I don't know that there's any other 7-footer that's been in the league that is like him. But at the same time, if you're Kyle, you're looking at Filipowski, you're looking at okay, what can I become and what can I learn? His ability to catch the ball up high and hit a three has improved dramatically from year one. And to see him have kind of the flash that he had at Summer League, and then that still takes time to translate into the NBA, but we're seeing some of that from him. So there's a lot of bright spots with the Jazz.
Well, obviously with you sitting in front of us, I'm like, I'm not going to let this go because I want people to get excited about it. What's been great is, and there are games that I've gone to with my credential on, and there have been games I've gone to with the kids. And guess what? They aren't like they don't do like a. I haven't liked some of these shifts. I haven't liked some of these calls that Will Hardy brought off the bench.
What kind of rotation is that?
Yeah, no. They're there, and guess what? They freaking love it, every second of it. And these are kids that watch a lot of sports, but it's interesting to watch this whole thing develop. And I think people do the dramatic thing. Our market doesn't do the dramatic, like, paper bag over the head and we hate our own team and it's self-loathing on top of it. No, we don't do that.
No,
please, let's not get to that. Or at least, we do not want that. Okay, so we'll take another break here. We'll come back. Alema's going to join us for another couple minutes here, and then we're going to cut him loose because I don't know, he might be the busiest man on the planet.
He's got a lot of important things
He's got
to
some
do.
things going on. So we'll come right back. We got more to go. Stay with us. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We appreciate you being on the program here with us. We appreciate Alema Harrington, who's been nice enough to hang out with us. We're at the Player of the Week Awards here. KSL Sports Player of the Week Awards presented down here in Utah County by the good folks of Mr. Mac and Trucordia, who's hosting the event tonight. And it's awesome. The prizes get to be better. The kids got some really cool stuff last night that they didn't know they were going to be getting. And I think KSL's done a great job of sneaking in some prizes that the kids didn't know. Because I'll be honest, one of the kids yesterday, the parents are like, we got to drag him to get going here. And I was like, they were like, dude, we're going to go to this thing. They're going to honor you. He just didn't like the whole attention thing. And then by the end, smile on his face, cool new watch on
By
his
the way,
wrist.
I was just yesterday out at Rockwell with Rich Eggett and Johnny Rich. And Johnny was telling me, "Oh yeah, we just did the watches,
all the logos,
all the logos." And I love these guys. And we have so many companies. And Trucordia, we're here with one of them today, Mr. Mac, of course. But there's a lot of companies, Rockwell's being one of them as well, that are so tied into our community, and I love that. And I love what Pete was saying when he talked about the relationship with high school sports, because people need to understand from a marketing standpoint. My brother works in the sports marketing world. From a marketing standpoint, if you're looking for something that is going to tie the community to you emotionally, get involved in local sports, because everybody has a positive opinion about their school, their kids, and if you can attach your brand to that, then there's this carryover
100%.
that you get that love too. It's like, oh, these guys, like, I don't even know this company, but they're supporting my kids, so I'm supporting them.
Yeah,
right?
Prep has such a totally different reach. And it's so unique because it's not the thing. You're not going to break down high school games like on the radio ad nauseum, right?
And you're not nearly as critical of the high school players as you will be of,
But the stream up online.
Yep.
If it's not up, I mean, we get killed, right? Like
and for good reason.
I know, and so you have such a demand because these are their families and they're into it. I want to get your thoughts before we chat a little bit about Mr. Mac that you. With the Kalani extension and just how much energy is coming out of Provo with the money stuff and all those things that just went on. It was a wild 10 days for BYU.
It's interesting because, college sports and sports in general, there's a lot of action and reaction. And when let's say when Utah went to the Pac-12, the kind of knee-jerk reaction, we're going independent.
Yeah.
Right? Now, BYU has all this money that is flowing in, and the knee-jerk reaction, okay, we're going private equity. It's like, okay, we got to figure out what this landscape looks like. Now, I'm extremely pleased with the way that Kalani was handled, that it got handled in the timely fashion before early signing day.
Yeah.
I thought it was handled by Santiago and that group very, very nicely and in a very positive and timely manner. And so I'm grateful. And I've known Kalani for a long time, known his family for a long time. His dad and my father, before he passed, they were good friends. He used to play squash back before pickleball was a thing together here in Utah County. And so I've known that family a long time. Of course, covered Kalani's career and his brother at BYU. And so when I look at the best possible coaches for BYU, Kalani is at the top of that list. And so I'm so grateful that he's able to stay and at the same time use that opportunity when you do have some leverage to not just improve your situation, which the beautiful thing about Kalani is never even seemed like it was about that. It wasn't about his salary. It's about what can we do to set up the program to continue to be successful, and we've got to compete in this new landscape. And how are we going to do that? Let's like put that foundation in place now so that we can have success going forward. Because he knows as well as any of us know that a 6-win season is right around the corner for any coach, but how can you have some sustained success and maybe a 6-win season and not around the corner? Like if you put the things in place that you need, you might be able to
10 to 15 million more in NIL funds. You can avoid that.
You can avoid Texas Tech. You could all change in 1 year. Before we get out, get the best blankets and gifts ever. Save 50% right now this season with the promo code ZONE50. No better time during the holidays than to go to MickeyCouture.com and get these for 50% off. Best blanket ever, best gift ever, or at any of their 6 locations. We'll come right back. JJ and Alex continues. We're going to chat with Mike Folta, play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth, coming up right around the corner here. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.